Hey, this is Robin from Zone 6 in Northwest Connecticut. Today I'm going to try to plant some cool flowers. So hardy flowers. Flowers you can plant now that are not going to grow really till the spring, but are hardy like Larkspur, Burplurum, Feverfew. Things you can plant now that you can then enjoy early in the spring versus planting just early in the spring when the season for ideal production for some of these flowers, they really want cool weather, and by the time we plant things sometimes in the spring, it's too late. We've kind of lost our opportunity. So I'll talk a little bit more about cool flowers. I am definitely new to this, so come along with me, and if you want to try it, let's try it together and let's see how we both do. So let's get some seeds in the ground. This year I'm going to try something different with my raised beds. So I'm putting this really fine mesh down underneath the dirt, and I'm hoping that's going to actually maybe keep the voles from coming up. We're going to see if this works. It's worth a shot. What could go wrong? Hardy annuals are plants that are hardy enough to survive the cold temperatures of winter. So they can be planted in the fall to winter over, and they bloom in the spring. I'm also going to do a repeat planting in the very early spring of the ones that I'm doing today. So these flowers are going to come up in the very early spring days, long before the last frost has arrived. They're very happy with the cooler temperatures because the soil doesn't dry out as fast. You have the rain and the snow in the fall, and the winter does the watering for you, which is really nice. And the plants have a chance to become well established and grow a nice strong root system, which is really great. And then when the spring comes, they're ready to begin performing for us. Since I'm a total newbie with this whole concept of hardy annuals, I am totally following Lisa Mason Ziegler's book, Cool Flowers. I've got tabs all over it, and I'm going to follow those directions to a T and hope that it works. What is a hardy annual? A hardy annual is a plant that lives for 1 year, survives cold temperatures, and many are planted in the fall to winter over and produce blooms the following spring. These flowers typically prefer a very cool condition versus tender annuals, which live for a year and don't survive cold temperatures. So these are planted after the threat of frost has passed in the spring and the soil's begun to warm up, like zinnias, for example. In Lisa's book, she goes through plant by plant, quite a long list, and goes through the details for each one. And then in her Appendix B on page 138, she goes through the winter hardiness zones and the preferred seed starting method. Here I'm planting Nigella, or love in a mist as it's commonly called. This is a great flower that's either wonderful fresh or dried, which is really nice. It's got kind of cool lacy fern-like foliage. So you want to sow this outdoors, and you need to cover it. It sprouts in like 14 to 21 days, and it's winter hardy to zone 6. It's really good for deer resistance, and it can reseed, and I'm kind of hoping that it will reseed. So that'll be neat. So I will do another planting of this in the spring also. So this is Nigella. The great thing about hardy annuals is they just develop naturally, and they grow into nice strong plants when they have the opportunity to do it during cool conditions. So we're going to try this. Next up, I'm planting Bachelor Buttons. The variety I chose was from Floret Farm, the Classic Magic. And Bachelor Buttons do get sown outdoors, and you cover them. They sprout in about 7 to 14 days. They're winter hardy to zone 6. They're great for either landscape or cutting, and they're excellent deer resistant and good excellent reseeding potential. So you can see where I'm going with some of these things. So those were the Bachelor Buttons. I love this color. Just love this. Can't wait to see these. I hope they come up, but I didn't plant all my seeds. I'm saving some that I can put in the spring again for these. So you'll notice that I'm skipping over the next area, I did go back and put in Buplurum. And I got these from Floret Farm. Graffiti is the one that I chose. These do get sown outdoors and they get covered. They're winter hardy to zone 5. They're good deer resistant, excellent reseeding potential. They're good in the landscape and good for cutting. So I did go back and get the Buplurum in, but I saw some things. Lisa Mason Ziegler said to place the seeds in the freezer for 2 weeks prior to planting. I'll be the first to say it was more like a couple of hours, or no, actually I think I did it the next day. But we'll see. Hopefully these do come out. Next up, I got from Johnny's QIS Larkspur, color Carmine. This is supposed to be an excellent series for cut flowers. Nice tall spires, dense florets, in a pretty soft pink with hints of pale green. A nice double bloom. I didn't have a great luck this year with Larkspur, so I'm going to try it again. Direct seed is recommended, 1/4 inch deep. So you're going to cover them, so outdoors obviously. Winter hardy to zone 6. Good deer resistant, excellent reseeding potential, good landscape flower, and good for cutting. So this is Larkspur. And I did a couple rows of all of these. The only one I did more of was Feverfew. And that's a flower that I got from Floret, a version called Virgo. And I didn't have good luck with Feverfew this year. I don't know why. Some of the seeds I planted, I really had a lot of problems with. So I did 2 different ones. This is Feverfew from Floret, Venmo single. I also got from Johnny's Virgo. So I have 3 rows that I planted here. And Feverfew, again, can be sown indoors and you don't cover it, or you sow it outdoors and you don't cover it. Sprouts in 7 to 14 days. Winter hardy to zone 5. Excellent deer resistance, excellent reseeding potential. And these seeds were microscopic and so thin, I was actually afraid to not cover them at all because I was afraid they were going to just blow away. So I kind of just lightly tapped soil around them. But you can see here, I was like, oh my God, these are like so fine. So we got all this bed planted. I still have the tomatoes to take out, and I have the other 2 beds to do. I still have got Orlea there. I've got carrots, and I still have a lot more that I want to plant. So most of us have been planting hardy annuals just at the very time when they should be bursting into bloom, which obviously doesn't make any sense. So you want to choose flowers that are winter hardy in your winter hardiness zone. And you can find that just by putting your zip code into any of those search engines that'll tell you that. I'm also going to start some seeds indoors to do as transplants, but not this fall because I'm way too late for that. So I'm looking forward. I've got my setup. I've got my soil all amended here. We're ready to go. Well, I still have the Buplurum to put in, and I know I'm really late getting to this, but we just got the raised beds raised up, got all the raised bed soil. So I'm just going to try it and see what happens. Please subscribe, hit that like button. As always, it really does make a difference. And I hope you'll follow along and maybe you'll try this too. I followed the directions in the book Cool Flowers by Lisa Mason Ziegler because I know she's the guru on planting hardy annuals. So fingers crossed. Last but not least, I did get some sweet peas in the ground. This is sweet pea Balmoral that I got from Floret Farm. And I did grow this year and loved it. So this is a final look at this bed is ready to go. I'll share my successes and failures with you. And if you're doing the same thing, please share along with the rest of us and let us know what works and what doesn't work. Stay tuned for the next video. See you next time.